Hello friends, how are you today? Breaking news. Artem Chigvintsev refuses to let his ex-wife Nikki Garcia have the last word in their messy divorce. After a judge granted Nikki's request for a restraining order, Artem sought one out too. New reports indicate a judge granted his request too. As new details emerge about the case, it's clear to fans that Artem and Nikki don't stand much of a chance for reconciliation. Read on to see more about the granted restraining orders. Nikki Garcia cited violence against Artem Chigvintsev in restraining order. TMZ broke the news about Nikki Garcia's restraining order against her ex earlier this week. In her version of events, Artem had grown quite hostile and prone to fits of rage after Dancing with the Stars didn't renew his contract. She asked him to work on his anger problem, but nothing seemed to work. The morning of August 29, the pair reportedly had a fight over breakfast, which ultimately escalated and resulted in the 911 call. Nikki went on to allege Artem violently tackled her to the ground and tried to suffocate her. Artem's version of events looks a bit different, but authorities did arrest him on domestic violence charges when they arrived at their Napa Valley home. The former DWTS pro adamantly denies Nikki Garcia's version. After reporting on Nikki Garcia's restraining order, TMZ shared that Artem clapped back at his ex-wife, citing a completely different story. Nikki and Artem agree that an argument broke out over breakfast, but the stories take wildly different turns. In the dancer's version, he claims that his wife kept chastising him and found fault with everything he did before ultimately throwing their 4-year-old son's shoes at him. When Artem took their son upstairs to get away from her, she allegedly chased after them and violently tried to snatch their son back. "I tried to get her off me and away from the doorframe so that Mateo would not witness any further conflict," Artem said in his official statement, as obtained by People. "I cannot stress enough how many times I pleaded with her to stop and calm down. There was a mutual struggle and both ended up on the ground. At that moment, I knew that nothing I would say would get to her and make her calm down. I was hurt and scared of her continuing on. I needed help for her to stop." He denies ever tackling her, Artem's lawyer told POPL. He was shocked to learn 2 weeks after the incident that she made this allegation against him. At that point, it made sense to him why he was arrested. As a result of wife's self-serving statement, Mr. Chigvintsev's career suffered, with numerous opportunities being cancelled due to these false allegations. He was not the primary aggressor. Follow TV show's Ace online for more information regarding this tumultuous split. New update today. Nikki Garcia and Artem Chigvintsev remain estranged after his domestic abuse arrest. Since their separation, Nikki has been opening up more and more about their relationship over the years. She has now said he had to work at a construction job after DWTS cut him as a pro. Here is what Nikki had to say about Artem. Nikki Garcia says Artem went into construction after DWTS. Nikki Garcia has started to pull the curtains back on Artem Chigvintsev and what he is like behind the scenes since their separation. Artem and Nikki had a domestic abuse situation that saw Artem arrested. Nikki then quickly filed for divorce from the former DWTS pro. Now, she is starting to talk more about what Artem is allegedly really like. The two have dual restraining orders against each other while trying to figure out their parenting roles. While there is a restraining order against each other, the prosecutors have said they will not file criminal charges against Artem. Now, Nikki is starting to spill the tea. The latest news comes from Nikki's filing against Artem for the restraining order via People. In the filing, she said that after DWTS cut Artem from the current season, he couldn't find other work as a dancer. He had begun work at a construction job and felt it was beneath him, Nikki said in the filing. Since being cut from Dancing with the Stars, Artem had been growing increasingly angry, snapping at me and yelling. We had discussions about his need to control his anger. This isn't the first time DWTS has cut him. While Nikki Garcia shared that DWTS' decision to cut Artem hit him hard, this wasn't the first time the show had removed him from the pro lineup. DWTS also cut him in season 28 in 2019. I don't know where to begin, to be honest with you. Obviously, it was a massive shock. Having those calls is never fun, Artem said about the earlier decision to cut him. I dedicated 10 years of my life to that company, and getting let go 3 days before an announcement, that's like a punch in the stomach. At the time, he admitted that it was more than a job. He said it was a lifestyle. He never thought he would stop doing it. However, when the show told him he wasn't needed that season, it was a hard pill to swallow. Being cut again a few years later seemingly created anger issues for him. However, Artem has a different story. In his filings for a restraining order, he said that Nikki Garcia was the aggressor. What are your thoughts about the mess between Nikki Garcia and Artem Chigvintsev? Do you think he was suffering anger issues after the DWTS cut? Let us know in the comments below. Ezra Sosa thoroughly enjoys his time as a professional dancer on Dancing with the Stars. However, there's another reality television show he loved to star in. Surprisingly enough, the series also has some ties to his childhood. Keep reading and see what Ezra had to say. Ezra Sosa wants to join a new drama-packed reality show. After growing his career on So You Think You Can Dance, Ezra Sosa joined Dancing with the Stars as a troupe member a few seasons ago. This year was his first season as a pro dancer with his own celebrity partner. But there's more to this Utah-based dancer than meets the eye. People asked Ezra which reality show he would like to be on if he wasn't part of Dancing with the Stars. It didn't take him long to come up with a few responses. Dance moms. I like honesty, probably Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We grew up Mormon, and we grew up from Utah, so we watched that. I'm like, facts, sis, the pro dancer shared, referring to his older sister Stephanie Sosa. I actually want to invite the cast to the show, so if you're part of that cast, please hit me up. I will gladly get you tickets to the show. I would love to dance with all of you, Ezra continued. Please, please. Hulu recently renewed The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives for a second season, so it's entirely possible the young dancer will get his wish after all. The dancer feels excited about Latin inclusion on television. Ezra Sosa has Latino roots, but growing up in an LDS home in Utah made him feel disconnected from his heritage. Growing up in Utah, I wasn't really exposed to my culture, and my grandma always called me gringa, and I had a hard time just diving into it. The 23-year-old told GLAD. When I moved to LA, I started going to salsa clubs, started taking salsa class, and I really just understood how amazing it is to be Hispanic and how much extra rhythm I got in these hips.